Welcome to the Binge Breakers podcast. I'm Jacqueline. I am here to teach you how I overcame bulimia and my binge eating disorder, and how you can too. Through simple steps of mind management, repairing your relationship with yourself, understanding your habits, and intuitive eating.
Disclaimer, this recording is not intended to be used as medical advice, nor is it advice from a doctor. I am a coach, a recovery coach, and I offer advice from my own experience and my clients. But please, if you think you are in need of medical help, seek it immediately. We'll also be talking about subjects such as binging and purging, depression, and other sensitive topics. So if those trigger you, please listen at your own discretion. All right. Hello, podcast listeners. We are restructuring the podcast, so I can't decide if this episode belongs in the Recovery 101's how-to episodes or it belongs in the Raw Talk episodes. I think it belongs in how-tos, but maybe Raw Talks because it isn't specific enough. I don't know, but we're going to go with it. I'm aiming for progress and helping you guys as much as possible, not perfection. So today I wanted to talk about body image, and in particular I wanted to talk about things that I do and that I recommend other people do to improve their own body image and be happier in the body that they have right now. And this is for people, even if you want to change your body, please listen, because knowing who I was back in the day and knowing the type of people that listen to this podcast, I'm just assuming I know things about you, but I would hear things like this and I would think, but I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to change my body, I'm going to do all these things. If that's you, that's cool. You can still opt to change your body. I do not care what you do with your body. But if you want to feel happier in your body today and appreciate your body better today, I recommend doing the following things. And this is what I currently and still always working on. And you might ask, Jacqueline, aren't you supposedly recovered from bulimia and binge eating, and aren't you supposedly so much better, and aren't you much better to your body and all those things? I'm gonna say yes I am, but I still struggle like any other human being on this planet who lives in modern society and has all of our social influences and a culture around us around thinness, and hearing all these different things, being on Instagram and seeing all these different bodies and beauty standards and mean comments and other comments saying you should be totally accepting of every single thing your body is like. And then there's controversial opinions. There's just lots of stuff. And so even though I'm in a much better place than I was when I was struggling with bulimia with my body, I always need to do a little bit of work on it. And I may always need to. I'm not sure if I have body dysmorphia. I'm pretty sure that I do, but whatever. It's just always going to be something I have to consistently work at and be intentional about. And sometimes I fall backwards and sometimes I just improve, and that's the way it is. But I think what's changed is that I'm confident that the issues I have, I can handle and that I can keep on working through, and I can always improve my relationship with my body, which is an ever evolving relationship, just like your relationship with anyone. That being said, here are the things that I do that help with my body image and feeling better in the body I have right now. One is a very simple thing. It is surrounding yourself with more diverse body types, body shapes, different skin colors, different races, body diversity of all kinds. I find in particular that it's helpful for me to follow lots of people that are in fact larger than me. And this is gonna sound weird, but sometimes I find it extremely helpful when I see women, beautiful, beautiful women that are larger than me, that are clearly thicker than me, curvier than me, luscious, all these things, and I can still see that they are vibrant, beautiful, and attractive. And this took me some time. I think there was a time where I couldn't find women that were, this is going to sound horrible, but this is real, so I'm being authentic, women that were thicker than me, attractive. And that is because I was just so deep into the fitness culture and diet culture and had lots of different influences and had never really diversified what my idea of attraction was, and was so rigid on what I thought it should be that I couldn't. But through slowly diversifying what I see on my Instagram, it really is just my Instagram that I go on, honestly, and not on TikTok or anything, but making sure that I'm seeing diverse types of bodies and different types of beauty, I've found through that, just through exposure alone, that my range of what I find beautiful has broadened. And that alone is a great, great thing, because someone said to me the other day, this person's objectively attractive. And I found it kind of annoying because I was like, attraction is subjective. And we always say that. It's kind of a term to like diss people that don't fit into that societal. I think what they should have said is she's societally standard beautiful, right? That's what society at this moment and this culture would agree fits into the societal standards of beauty. But this person, or no one, you are not objectively attractive, because attraction is something that is fluid, and it is not, even though I so badly wanted to believe this, it is not something that fits all. It is very, very subjective. And so that alone has helped me broaden my own standard of what I can find beautiful and what I can appreciate, which has been really helpful for me in just appreciating so many different types of beauty. And it's been healing for me too, I think, in the sense of the fact that I can see a beautiful person, especially like other women, right? That's where my jealousy would come in. I can find, and the comparison would come in. I can see other beautiful women that look like something I will never ever look like. For those of you guys that don't know, I'm definitely a taller girl, and then I'm also like broader shoulder, very tall, broad shouldered. I'm a bit more muscular. Like, I am not a petite, wafy like beauty in that sense, right? I'm very much so like a strong build. And so when I see other women that are something that I can never physically be, I'm so just more appreciative of the fact that they have their own beauty and I have my own beauty, because we're both different types of beauty, and it's not a competition. It's just appreciating all different types of beauty. So that alone has been super helpful for me. But then also in particular, seeing that there's so many different types of beauty has made me, what I was just saying, be able to appreciate that my own beauty exists. And if I can see it in other people, I can see it in myself. If I can find different types of ways to appreciate many different body types, smaller, larger, then I certainly should be able to appreciate my body type wherever it is in the spectrum. And I will say there's a caveat too. I am in a normal size body in terms of like, I'm not a plus size, I'm not a petite size, and I'm a very standard size in that sense, other than being taller, which is something that I do get sometimes odd attention for, or like people can see it as a negative. But other than that, I don't have to deal with stigmas. Like when I go into the doctor's office, they don't automatically assume that any health issues I have are because of my weight and the prescribed weight loss to me. That is not something I experience. I don't experience immediate judgment for my weight or being treated worse because of my weight. And that is something really difficult. So I'm not speaking from that perspective, but I do think following people, if you are in that scenario, following people who rebel against that and who still show up and are proud to be in the bodies that they are in, and appreciate their own beauty and celebrate the beauty of their body as it is, can be very, very healing for someone like you who is in that body. So I just want to put that caveat. But anyway, following more diverse, I'm saying creators, but having wherever you take in your content, making sure you are having a diverse set of people that you follow, not just for their bodies too, right? But for their ideas and their creativity and their input. If you're just in this one way of life, then you're gonna really struggle quite a bit. And that's something that I'm constantly always trying to work on. So that's that. And then the other one goes hand in hand with this, which is removing or limiting relationships and other stimulus that makes me feel less so about my body. Now, I'm not talking about like, I see like a creator I follow is, I think, attractive or more attractive than me, and therefore I unfollow them because I think that they're more attractive than me. I think in that case, you need to probably do work on yourself. And again, like, realize that attraction isn't everything, and like, you shouldn't unfollow people for that. And if you think bad things about your body because of this person's body existing, maybe work on that a little bit. Of course, I think maybe there's even a time for following anything that makes you triggers negative thoughts about you, and then slowly maybe reintroducing that people, depending those things, depending on what value they add that you still want in your life. If they add no value, then yeah, remove them. But if they do add some value and you have to remove them because they just trigger you, maybe slowly consider trying to work that back in once you kind of get a baseline. But I'm talking more so about people or things, just really words that encourage you to feel badly about yourself, or encourage you to think in a really limited way, point of view about your body. That would be a relationship to your best of to the best of your ability that you might consider removing altogether or limiting quite a bit. I had to do this with a few people in my life, and it was very helpful. One, I just removed altogether, and then other people I just kind of didn't maybe put more work into that relationship, just because I knew that they were always bringing up kind of toxic things, toxic ideas about what beauty is and their own really awful diet habits and stuff like that. And just for the people listening too, I am someone who I just went to the gym this morning. I lifted heavy. I'm gonna get probably a good amount of steps and walks in today. And I eat healthy. Like, I'm someone who absolutely does work out and tries to maintain a body that is healthy for them. So I'm not saying that I never ever do anything healthy for myself or whatever, but the reason that I'm bringing that up is because I think some people are going to be like, well, this person's just off the deep end and never does anything healthy for themselves, and that's why they are saying all these things, because this is how they cope with their lifestyle. Like, I'd say most people would look at my lifestyle and think it's pretty healthy, pretty standardly healthy. So if you're that person, like, calm down. You can still remove these toxic, there is a version though, I guess what I'm trying to say, why I brought that up, there is a version of toxicness in dieting, in being healthy, being fit, all those things. And when I'm around people that take it too far, or people that say the things like, you know, that person's objectively attractive, I just have to kind of either let those people or those things be those things, or remove myself from them altogether, because you are who you hang out with and you are what you surround yourself with. And I just don't want to be in that silo of the vacuum of thoughts that are unhelpful and just oppress people and make people feel terrible about themselves. It's just a control and power thing. And I found it so much more liberating, especially recently, to be around people and be around things and content and sources that make me feel amazing about who I am as I am right now. And that is something that, now that I've experienced it, I'm like, there's no going back. There's no purpose in going back to something that was making me feel like I need to lower myself or make myself smaller or do anything like that. It's just not helpful, and it's a waste of time, quite honestly. We have so much more value to put into the world than how pretty we aren't. It's just stupid. Okay, and then the other thing I do is I try to intentionally appreciate my body. So what I mean by this is that I try to intentionally think thoughts that are nice to my body. They don't just come naturally to me. The more I practice them, the more that they do, but I try to intentionally think thoughts about my body that are appreciative. Like, I am so strong, or I'm really grateful that my body can walk today. I'm grateful that my body showed up for me today. Or if I am really feeling myself, like, man, I feel so hot today, like all those things. I try to, when those thoughts come up organically, take them, rush with them, experience them, enjoy them. But I also try to, on purpose, especially in days where don't have anything nice to say about my body, to still intentionally appreciate the sheer fact that my body exists, that it is here in this world and it is alive and allowing me to experience whatever I experience today. And that is something that we take for granted all the time. So no matter what your body looks like, no matter what you think of it, I don't try to gaslight myself and tell myself things that I don't think are true about my body, but I do try to find something positive to say about my body every single day. And I very intentionally try not to indulge in shameful thoughts about my body. And something that helps me a lot with this is thinking about when I'm 90 years old, what I would say about my body today. And if I was 90 years old and I woke up in this body today, I would certainly not be saying the shit that I was saying. And anyways, if I was 90 years old and I woke up in the body that I had today, I'd be so grateful, so happy, so energetic. I'd run around. I'd probably put on a bikini and just run around the whole town and just have a great ball of a time in 50 degree weather. I would just not be worried about the things that I'm caught up in today. And it'd be so unimportant, and it gives you a lot of perspective when you think about it that way. And then the other thing that I do is I live for the body I have today. And sometimes I forget this and I have to remind myself, but it's a really important one. I was listening to, I'll go in and edit her in, or I'll put her like in the video somewhere. I was listening to this content creator influencer. She had a really helpful video on body image. And she was talking about how much time we waste with obsessing over our body and never being in the now and never being present with our bodies, because we're so obsessed about the body that we want to have or that we'll have someday. And I was like, that's so true. Like, I constantly still get tripped up into, when I have this body, or when I do this thing, then I'll wear that thing, or then I'll have the confidence to do this thing. And it's like, no, maybe you will achieve that dream body someday. Again, you're allowed to change your body, but living in a way that you won't, living in a way where you will, what am I trying to say? Living in a way where if I finally achieve this, then I can do this, I just think it's quite limited and it may never happen. That's what haunts me, is that, again, when I think of when I'm 90 years old, I'll have wished I'd worn whatever I wanted to wear or done whatever I wanted to do. The idea that I would not go out because of the condition of my body. Again, I'm in a normal sized body where I never get shamed for it. So I do know that is a thing. But even if you are in a larger body where you do sometimes experience prejudice because of the body that you're in or the color of your skin or anything, I think it's an act of rebellion and a necessity for yourself and a vote for yourself to still go out and experience what you want to experience in the body you have currently, because it may be the last day you ever have and it's the only body you have right now. And time is such a precious resource. And the idea that you're not going to be seen because of some stupid societal standard or beauty thing that you think means that because of this you can't wear a crop top, or because of this you can't go to this cafe, or because of this you can't walk in this way or do this thing. It's just absurd and mind-boggling and limits you. And you don't know what could happen from that experience. Maybe you meet the love of your life, or you have the best experience in the world. I don't know, but I will be damned if I let some sort of thing of, oh, well, I'll be able to do this when I look this way, rule my life. I just want to live in the body that I have right now. I want to dress for however I want in whatever body I have right now. And I want to experience whatever I can. I can experience amazing things in my life in the body that I have right now. And I want to constantly live by that rule and not let time literally pass me by until I achieve a body that I may never actually happen. That just, no, I don't want to waste my life. I could die tomorrow. I just don't like that idea. All right. And then the last thing, and I have a bonus thing actually too, is I take care of the body that I have now to the best of my ability. It doesn't mean that I'm perfect. You can have a healthy body and have ice cream, but I totally still have junk food. I had a mimosa yesterday with a friend, and that's not healthy at all. Alcohol is just not good for you. So I still totally have days and things that I do that aren't super healthy, and like sleep in and stuff like that if I need it. That's not always healthy depending on what you're doing with your schedule. But what I'm saying is that I try my best to move my body in a way that feels good to it. I do active things that I enjoy, like lifting weights, running, walking, stretching, all those things I enjoy. So I try to do those things. I try to make sure that I do have vegetables, that I do have food diversity, that I do give myself micronutrients, that I do make sure to get enough protein, that I do make sure to give myself not just a diet of sugar and candy and alcohol. Obviously, that's not good for you, and your physical health affects your mental health. So it's really hard to feel good about your body when you feel sluggish and slow and you're constantly having sugar and all that sort of stuff. So while I still do totally have those things, I do try to, in moderation, make sure I'm taking in healthy things so that my body can function properly and have enough fuel and resources to be able to think clearly and to be able to appreciate my body properly. It's a full circle. So I do try to take care of my body, and I think that makes you feel good. And it's not, again, taking care of my body is not about having a smaller body. And I've disconnected that, and you may need to do work on disconnecting that, but it really is about taking care of my body so that I can feel better. I can think better. Those are the two main things for me. If I don't feel good, then I don't think good. I don't think good. And yeah, so hopefully all those tips were helpful for you. The other thing I'd say is that sometimes when this is like, I don't know if I should say it here, but I will. This is kind of like a bonus tip, but if you're kind of obsessed with this idealized version of your body, sometimes I ask clients on calls when they're talking about this, what body do you want? We get specific about what exactly they want to change, how much weight they want to lose, where they want to lose it, what exactly they want to look like. And then I tell them exactly what is likely required of them to get to that body. And sometimes it's within reason. Sometimes it's a reasonable expectation. Like they want to lose maybe 5 pounds, depending where they're at. That's totally healthy and within reason. And they want these little things to change, and they're willing to do those things, and they just need to make a few changes that would benefit their life. And that's awesome when that happens. But oftentimes the version that these clients want isn't healthy, and is something that would require so much work from them. It would require them to eat very, very little. It would require them to work out so much more. It would require them to sacrifice a ton of time that could be spent with family or loved ones, or doing fun things, or exploring other things like learning a new language, learning a new hobby, in educating themselves, like things that are far more important than the size of your waist. But they also, that or it could require them to have plastic surgery. Like some things you cannot achieve without surgical intervention. And so when I ask them those things, I'm like, this is likely what is required. Like a lot of moms I talk to, they have loose skin around their stomach, sometimes depending on how the pregnancy was, and no amount of working out will change that. They're always going to have that loose skin unless they have a surgery to assist in patching that back up, right? And when I say those things and they think about it, and I'm like, it's a serious question, like, are you willing to do those things? Most often the answer is no. And then I say, okay, if you are not willing to do those things because you don't want to, you think that that's not worth it, and you have good reasons to think that that's not worth it, you have valid reasons, you are not wrong, then why are you torturing yourself for a body that you're never going to have because you're never willing to do what it takes to get that body? And you probably shouldn't do what it takes to get that body. And that's like a light bulb moment usually for people is, oh, you're right. Like, I don't want this. So why am I torturing myself for something that I will never achieve because I don't want it? And it just helps them reprioritize how they think about their body. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. If you want more information about me, what I do, and whatever I have to help you on other stuff, bulimia recovery, life stuff in general, and binge eating, and just living a happier, healthier, adventurous life, you can go to bingebreakers.com. I'm also on Instagram at bingebreakers_bulimia. Okay, thank you so much for listening. And if you like this podcast, be sure to give it a review and a rating. Hopefully you did like it. If you didn't like it, just like leave me alone, please. But yeah, thank you for listening. Bye. And never, ever, ever give up on yourself.